Greetings YouTube, family, friends, and survivors. That's bat poop. They like to roost up there. It's amazing how they can squeeze in between those boards. But I come down here every so often and vacuum all this up for fertilizer. And I'll show you what plant I use it on. Just use a little shop vac. See how it works. I scooped it up last time with a paintbrush and a little pan. And we'll see how it worked. I'm not too concerned about the dust that's in there or the pieces of hay, because it's just going to go right into a honeysuckle. But I've been doing this and it seems to really make a difference. That's a good amount. This honeysuckle is the same as the one that's on the house. And the neat thing about the house, the one you see over there on the side, is we leave the windows open at night. And when the evening breeze comes, all of those honeysuckle flowers just fill the house with very intense sweet smell. You'll notice that this one is healthy looking, darker green leaves, and it's sending up runners. And my hope was it would take over this whole corner and then I could train it down this way. And that it would hide the trash cans that we hide from the bears. So I have another honeysuckle in the other corner of the garden, way over there on the other side of the solar panels. And it's healthy, it's got blossoms, it's running, but the color is not as dark and it's not growing as fast. So I'll leave with this color and then we'll go down and look at the other and you'll see what I mean. So you can see with this one, it's not growing as fast, so they were at the same size. They went from pots to in the ground the same time. They've been watered the same. The sunlight is a little different here, but not a whole lot. And it's a lighter color green, and much lighter than this before I started using guano. And the guano's been working really good. Since I fertilized it a month ago, the color started changing darker, and then the runners up the fence, you can see it's running up the fence now pretty good, and it wasn't doing that before. So what I've been doing is just collecting really high powered can see in there very good, but it's really high-powered stuff. And I've just been dumping it in here on top and watered in real good. And it's been very happy. Now, it may seem like a silly thing. It may seem like a silly thing to go down and vacuum up bat poop just to pour it on a plant here up in the garden. But really it comes down to a concept thing, a paradigm, if you will, about not wasting, using what's free. And you know, the internet's easy to find out all kinds of information. It's another place where we can learn from other people, and then we can use what we have. And I'm not an environmentalist, but I'm a conservationist. I have been a conservationist my whole life. I was a backpacker as a young child. I started backpacking in the high Sierras in the backcountry. You see, my mom and my grandma have both been to the top of Mount Whitney. My mom's been to the top of it twice. So my grandmother, originally being from Estes Park in Colorado, had a love for high country, mountains and snow. And that's been, you know, in my heart. And to conserve what we have is important. So I'm a conservationist. If the tree needs to come down, we take it down, but we don't take it down just to make profit. And that's okay if you're planting trees for profit like timber companies do. They own the land and they are cutting trees and replanting trees and growing it like a crop, just like corn. In fact, I think growing corn is more damaging to the environment than growing trees, but that may be debatable. It's not something I have a hard stance on, but the idea is conservation. So when you leave a campsite, you should leave it cleaner than when you got there. And if everybody did that, things would go better. So instead of putting high-powered chemicals, and I have chemical fertilizers for roses and stuff like that, but when you can do it for free with just a little bit of effort, and you start applying the concept of conservation, like when we cut the trees out for the solar, I'm 100% off the grid. And it did take some trees to come down in order to be off the grid right here in this spot. But it was helpful in several ways. We were able to grow now. Before, there was no sunlight on the house. You couldn't grow anything out here. And now we can grow a garden. I'm not on the grid, so I'm not using fossil fuels to make electricity. So that helps. The trees made buildings. I actually milled the lumber, sold the lumber, and now those trees have become siding on homes that would have maybe used something else that was more harmful to the environment to produce. And then all of the excess we've burned as firewood right here because our only heat is wood. So the conservation idea, if you apply it as more than a principle, it's a paradigm. It's your view of things. And if we adapt this principle, then I think things are going to go better for the environment. There'll be less waste. And so it seems like a silly thing maybe to some to scoop up a little bit of guano to put on a plant. But if you thought that way in everything that you did, then I think in the long run you're going to live with less, more efficiently. So it's less costly to live that way. And then in the long run, it's also healthier. So that's my pitch on conservation, and have a blessed day.